I have a bad feeling about this. Chapter 0. Hey everybody, this is Rad Roger here at the world premiere of I Have a Bad Feeling About This. And let me tell you, this party is wild. You can't spit without hitting a celebrity. Watch, I'm gonna try it right now. Hey, what the? It's Academy Award nominee Sandy Clifton. Great to see you here. Is that a baby bump? No, it most certainly is not. Are you sure? No, I'm just playing around. Celebrities wouldn't lie about something like that. So are you looking forward to the movie? Well, sure. I mean, that's kind of why I'm here. Me too. Not that I have tickets. Want to sell me yours? No, I'm just playing around. Who's your baby daddy? Come on, you can tell me. We'll edit that part out of the live broadcast. I have to go now. That was Academy Award non-winner Sandy Clifton, off to have some nighttime morning sickness. And I'm Rad Roger with continuing coverage of tonight's festivities. Oh, home run. It's Henny Lambert. How's it going, Henry? It's going great. So you're a pretty big deal. 16 years old and they've made a movie out of your life. Well, I'm not 16 anymore. I was 16 when everything happened, but I've aged since then. Ooh, burn. Have you seen the movie yet? They let me watch the rough cut, yeah. Is it accurate? Well, it's Hollywood. This isn't supposed to be a documentary. How accurate is it? You definitely have smaller muscles in real life. Yeah, I guess so. The commercial shows you running away from an explosion with a machine gun in each hand. Can I touch your arm? I just want to see if it could really hold a machine gun like that. I'd rather you didn't. Oh yeah, no way could this skinny thing hold a machine gun, not even a small one. Excuse me, sir, I'm afraid we're going to have to ask you to leave. Hey, I'm internet sensation Rad Roger. I'll leave when my viewers have gotten the full story on the world premiere of I Have a Bad Feeling About This. Sir, you and your crew need to leave immediately. I won't ask again. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Rad Roger bringing you live coverage of me being thrown out of the... Okay, ow, stop it, ow. All I did was touch his arm. I have a bad feeling about this as a lie. Ow, you're scuffing up my suit. If you want the true story of what happened out there, read the book. Chapter 1. Is your son a scrawny little wuss? Asked the man on the YouTube video. Henry felt like he was getting a sunburn from the eyes glaring at him through the computer. Wuss? Nerd? Sure. Geek? Yeah. Dork? Not since 5th grade. Not always operating at maximum courage levels, he could accept. But wuss was definitely going too far. The drill instructor narrator was bald, dressed in camouflage, and had biceps as big as a standard-sized human head. The camera zoomed in on his face, and Henry could see the vein pulsing on his forehead, like he had an angry worm in there. It doesn't have to be this way, the narrator said, his voice echoing dramatically. We can't fix your son. On the screen, a line of boys walked through the woods. One of them tripped, another one walked into a tree branch, a third started frantically slapping at something that had crawled down the back of his shirt. The muscular man stepped into the frame and shook his head. Disgraceful, isn't it? It would make me want to cry, except men don't cry. At least not after they've gone through. There was a whoosh, and then a loud clank as the following words slammed onto the screen in manly steel letters. Strongwood Survival Camp. The words exploded. It was a kind of a cheesy explosion. Henry could have done a much better one on his own computer. Unfortunately, he didn't think that his dad was making him watch the video to get his opinion on the quality of the special effects. 2 weeks at Strongwood Survival Camp is all it takes to turn your cowardly lion into a fearless panther. We will learn how to stand up for himself and how to survive. Whether it's school or the zombie apocalypse, our graduates fear nothing. A small caption read, Disclaimer, zombie apocalypses are fictional and not part of the Strongwood Survival Camp curriculum. We teach archery, a shot of an arrow hitting a bullseye. Hand-to-hand combat. A kid punched a bigger kid in the face, apparently knocking him unconscious with one blow. Water transport. A fearless kid rowed a canoe through violent rapids. Hunting! A kid strangled a deer. though a caption read, "Reenactment, do not attempt." "And more, more, more!" The camera zoomed way too close to his face. "Strongwood Survival Camp," the man shouted, getting a bit of saliva on the camera lens. "Register your scrawny wimp of a son today." Henry's dad turned to him. "So what do you think?" Henry stared at the screen for several seconds before he spoke. "This is a joke, right?" "No, it's real. We think it would be good for you." "See, I was kind of thinking the exact opposite. Literally, the exact opposite. 180 degrees. You mean 360. Henry shook his head. 180. 360 brings you back to where you started. Oh, you're right. Maybe you need geometry camp. Maybe you need to stop being a wise guy. Your mother and I just want what's best for you. This could be a life-changing experience. More like a life-ending experience. This could turn you into a man. How are you planning to become a man? I just kind of thought my body would keep growing. Henry, you're a good kid. You're smart, your grades are fantastic, and we're proud of you. But there are gaps in your life skills. This will help fill some of them. I'm 16, said Henry. I'm way too old for summer camp. That's for little kids. This isn't summer camp. This is survival camp. Your mother and I don't expect you to become captain of the football team or even demonstrate mild competence at bowling. But wouldn't it be nice if boys didn't kick sand in your face? Nobody has ever actually kicked sand in my face. And do you know why? Because you never go to the beach. And do you know why you never go to the beach? Because you're afraid of sharks. So, that's a good fear. It keeps me from getting eaten. But it's not just sharks. You're scared of jellyfish, which sting you, barracuda, monsters from hell, lobsters, well, duh, seahorses. I'm not proud of that. Okay, Henry did have a fairly long list of fears, but still, worse was too harsh. It wasn't like he slept with a nightlight or peeked under the bed for tentacle monsters. He just had a healthy fear of nature's vicious predators. And seahorses. Halibut. I never said I was scared of halibut. I said that the way they've got both eyes on the same side of their face was creepy. I didn't want to swim directly into one. What's wrong with that? His dad sighed. The thing is, you could overcome those fears. Going out into the woods is going to conquer my fear of jellyfish? His father sighed. Look, Henry, I can't force you to go. Actually, I can. That's the whole point. If you went to this camp, then nobody could force you to go to camp ever again. Don't you want strength? Don't you want self-confidence? Actually, Henry wanted both of those things. Though he would never, ever admit this to anybody, he was always envious of the guys who could easily talk to girls or who could play team sports without embarrassing and or hurting themselves. Not that he wanted to be a jock or anything. That would be ridiculous. Still, he was pretty sure girls would like him once they got to know him. It would be nice to have some self-confidence to say, Hi, I'm Henry. Want to get to know me? He wouldn't say it quite in that manner, of course. That was just the general concept of what he'd say if he had self-confidence. But he didn't want to acquire those skills at a camp with that guy in the video bellowing at him for 2 weeks. Henry was short, skinny, and nerdy geeky, the ultimate prey for a noisy bodybuilder. Are you sure Mom wants me to go? Yes. Then why are we talking about it when she's in Delaware for the week? Your mother may not be quite as sold on the idea as I am, but she definitely agrees with the general concept. In theory. Do I still have to scoop ice cream when I get back? Yes. Anyway, I'll give you some time to think about it, but you should go with Randy. Wait a minute, Randy's going? It's gonna be the greatest thing ever, Randy shouted, forcing Henry to hold the phone a couple of feet away from his ear. 2 weeks of awesome sauce. It looks like 2 weeks of torture sauce, Henry said. They'd been best friends since kindergarten, and Henry was used to Randy being extremely enthusiastic about things. But these things were usually related to Facebook posts rather than physical exertion. Randy got out of breath if he ate corn on the cob too quickly. Are you kidding me? Did you even look at the website? There are going to be survival games just like the Hunger Games in real life. Seriously? Yeah. Well, that might be kind of cool, Henry admitted. This will be the best summer of our lives. You understand that there won't be any girls there, right? So, Randy asked, what difference does it make if there are 0 girls at survival camp or 800 girls here that we don't talk to? Good point. Good depressing point. Anyway, there is an old girl camp somewhere around there, although I think it's more about music and less about violence. Well, that's encouraging, said Henry. Maybe we can get more dates if we ask at Crossbow Point. So we're really going to do this, huh? I don't know about you, but I am. All right. Then I guess I am too, but I have a bad fee. Sorry, gotta go. Talk to you tomorrow. Do you realize it's 2:30 in the morning? Henry's dad asked, walking to the living room, fastening his bathrobe. Henry kept his attention on the TV screen. Yeah. Have you considered going to bed? It's going to be 2 weeks without video games. I have to play enough now to sustain myself throughout that time. That game actually looks kind of cool. It is, and it's helping me build my survival skills before camp. In this game, mummies had taken over the world, and the player's job was to kill them. It was kind of astonishing how many ways there were to kill a mummy, though Henry could safely say that there would not be any mummy-killing exercises at camp. The dexterity and problem-solving skills he was demonstrating now would help him in real life, right? Alright, whatever. Have fun. Wilderness survival tip. 97% of our nation's ponds are filled to the top with piranha, which can skeletonize a cow in seconds. If you value your cow, don't shove it into a pond. Chapter 2. Henry didn't much like the outdoors, and there was a lot of outdoors out here. Randy sat next to him in the backseat of the car looking giddy. He was too old to say, "Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet?" But Henry could tell that he was saying it in his mind. Randy had talked about nothing but Strongwood survival camp for the past 10 days, and Henry had to admit that his enthusiasm was infectious. It might be kind of cool. It might even be fun. He might even put in a solid 23rd place showing in the games, assuming that there were 26 or 27 other players. Henry still didn't like the outdoors, though. They'd been on a dirt road for the past 15 miles. The car made a thump, thump, thump sound, and Henry kept glancing out the rear window to make sure that useful pieces weren't being left behind. After the road had degenerated to the point where you could no longer accurately refer to it as a road, they reached a sign that said, "Welcome to Strongwood Survival Camp." "I think that sign is written in blood," said Henry. "Oh, it's not," said his mother. "Randy, doesn't that look like blood?" Randy shook his head. "It's too bright. Blood's brown when it dries." The woods seemed to suddenly get darker and spookier. This place could be the hunting grounds for at least 7 or 8 different serial killers. Coming here was such a bad idea. Henry was going to look like a total idiot when he wound up dismembered. "Oh well," the chief of police would say. "That's what you get for ignoring a sign written in blood." Finally, they reached the camp. It consisted of 2 small buildings, both of them brown and nondescript. The one that was slightly less nondescript had a black truck parked in front of it. There was also a flagpole that didn't look like it could support the weight of an actual flag. Henry's dad shut off the car. As they got out, the front door to one of the brown buildings opened, and the bald, muscular man from the video walked out. He was wearing the same camouflage outfit, unless he owned more than one. "Welcome to Strongwood Survival Camp," he said. My name is Max." He looked at Henry. "You must be Randy Cakes." "I'm Henry Lambert." "He's Randy." Henry suddenly wondered if he made a terrible mistake by correcting the man. Maybe he and Randy should have just switched identities for the next 2 weeks. But Max smiled. "Good to meet both of you. We discourage long goodbyes here. They make you weak. So if you boys want to take yourself into the barracks, we'll send your parents on their way." Henry's dad popped open the lid of the trunk, and Henry and Randy each took out their backpacks and duffel bags. Max had a sour expression on his face as Henry received a hug from his mom, and Henry suspected that if a crowbar had been lying around, Max would have used it to pry them apart. "Say goodbye to the old Henry and Randy," Max said. "The next time you see these fine young men, you'll barely recognize them." Henry didn't like the sound of that. It could mean that they'd leave survival camp with a bold new attitude, but it could also mean that his face was about to get grotesquely disfigured. Henry's dad shook his hand, hopefully not for the last time, and then his parents got back into the car and drove away. Soon they were far enough away that even if Henry wanted to run after them, waving his arms and screaming, "Don't leave me here," he couldn't catch up. Max pointed to the second brown building. "Take your stuff in there and pick a cot." Henry and Randy nodded and went to the building. Inside, there are about 20 non-comfy looking cots, 10 against each wall. Only 3 of them appear to have been claimed so far by 3 boys who all looked up as they entered. "Hi," said Randy. Henry was immediately relieved to see that 2 of the 3 boys were unimpressive physical specimens like himself. In fact, one of them, a kid with short spiky hair that was dyed green, was only about 13. The other one was tall and gawky, with limbs that looked easily snappable. The third kid, and the only one who seemed remotely athletic, was probably a year older than Henry. He had the lean, muscular physique of the kids on the swim team, and looked like he spent as much time on his hair as Henry spent helping Mario save the princess. "Are we that early?" asked Henry, tossing his stuff on the nearest cot. They were supposed to be here by noon, and it was only a few minutes before that. The tall, gawky kid shook his head. "Nah, it's just the 5 of us." "Are you kidding me?" "Nope." "Only 5 people? You couldn't hide in the background if there were only 5 people. 5 people meant plenty of individual attention. 20% of Max's focus would be on him. He was doomed." Henry wanted to vomit right onto his new cot, but he thought the others might take that as a sign of weakness. The door opened and Max entered the barracks, scowling. "Everybody line up," he shouted. The 5 of them lined up. "As you know, my name is Max, but if you call me Max, I'll pop your head like a ripe zit. During your time here, I am Sir. Got it?" "Yes, sir," said Randy. "Everybody." "Yes, sir," said everybody. Henry was glad that it was the green-haired kid and not him who was a beat behind. "The instructions clearly said that you were to bring no cell phones or other portable electronic devices to camp. But somebody always brings a cell phone or other portable electronic device to camp. Every single time. Now I'm going to offer you an extremely brief grace period in which you can hand over this contraband, because if I discover it, it will not merely be confiscated, it will be destroyed. 10, 9, 8. Henry rushed over to his cot and hurriedly unzipped his duffel bag. The other 4 boys did the same. Henry removed his cell phone from the hidden pocket, his iPod from another hidden pocket, and his portable gaming device from the pocket of a folded-up shirt. After he had collected 5 cell phones, 4 iPods, 6 gaming devices, and a laptop computer, Max lined the boys back up again. "Thank you for your cooperation. Now everybody, pour the contents of your bags onto your cots." They each went to their cots and emptied out their bags. Henry wanted to debate the constitutionality of this search, but he also didn't want to get on Max's radar any more than absolutely necessary. Max went over to the green-haired kid's cot and looked at his things. He picked up a pair of socks that was folded into a ball. "Jackie." "Yes, sir." "Why are these socks heavier than I would expect a ball of socks this size to be?" "They're thick socks, sir." "If I unfold these socks, will I discover more than just sock?" "No, sir. The socks are also dirty, which might account for the added weight, sir." "You brought dirty socks?" "Yes, sir. I waited until the last minute to pack and didn't realize I didn't have any clean socks, sir. And I get rocks in my shoes sometimes, which might have gotten into my socks, which could also explain why they're so heavy, sir." "Since these are socks, only socks, and nothing but socks, would you mind if I threw them on the floor and stomped on them?" "I'd rather you didn't, sir." Max handed the socks to Jackie. "Unfold them." "This is kind of unsanitary, sir." "Do it." Jackie's shoulders slumped as he unfolded the socks, revealing an iPhone. My. What do we have here?" asked Max. "Please don't harm it, sir." "Would you mind telling me what you were thinking?" "Sir, I was thinking that I lack confidence in my social skills, and I felt that sneaking in an iPhone would help me bond with my fellow campers, sir." Max snatched the phone out of his hand. "Well, Jackie, you're in luck, because it's against camp policy to destroy private property. But it's not against camp policy to make you do push-ups until you puke. Down on the floor, now!" Jackie dropped to the floor and began to do push-ups. "You think that's funny?" Max asked Randy for no reason that Henry could explain, since Randy's mouth had been completely horizontal the entire time. "No, sir." "You want to get down there with him?" "No, sir." "On the floor, Randy. Show me what you got." Randy hesitated. "I said on the floor." He can't make you do that, Henry said. This isn't the military. The words were out before Henry realized what he was saying. This was when he decided to have a surprising moment of courage. Seriously. As Max stepped in front of Henry and fixed his steel-eyed gaze upon him, Henry knew that the next 2 weeks of his life were going to really, truly suck. Wilderness survival tip. An empty shampoo bottle can be used to make about 1/80th of a raft. So when you go hiking, make sure to bring 80 empty shampoo bottles.